Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing and want to see more. Coming up, the NRL Roundup with games played at Suncorp Stadium and Cbus Super Stadium. All these double headers and more. So in this double header at the Cbus Stadium, at Super Stadium even, after the State of Origin, Friday the 16th of July saw first of all Manly Warrior Sea Eagles play host to St George Illawarra Dragons. And it was the Dragons that scored first, as Tyrell Sloan scored in the 7th minute, which Jack Bird duly converted. This set a cat amongst the pigeons in the Sea Eagles line, and they got back straight away, with Morgan Harper scoring on the 14th minute, with Ruben Garrick slotting over the conversion. Oli Katoa scored on the 20th minute, with Garrick scoring again. And then Josh Maguire scored for the Dragons to keep the scores on parity, and Jack Bird does convert the conversion. Going into half-time, St George actually extended the lead, with Jack Bird scoring on the 33rd minute and converted penalty. And they went in half-time at 14 points to 12 in lead. This didn't take too long after the half-time to have Kieran Foran go over for the Sea Eagles, and Ruben Garrick again was perfect with the boot. Cade Cust scored a try, with Ruben Garrick converting on the 47th minute, and then Brad Parker went over, and Ruben Garrick scored a penalty as well as converting the try to complete the scoring for the Sea Eagles. Before the penalty by Garrick, Gerard Beale scored the try of the night as a kick from a scrum play bounced behind the Sea Eagles defence, with Tyrell Sloan running onto it. He caught it on the bounce and passed it inside to Gerard Beale, who scored out wide for the Dragons on the right hand edge. And that's how the scores ended. It was a great game. You can see all the highlights on NRL.com, and it ended 32 points to 18 to Manly Sea Eagles. So the second half of the doubleheader at the Cbus Super Stadium was Gold Coast Titans versus Parramatta Eels. On the 10th minute, Dylan Brown scored a try, with Clinton Gutherson scoring on the 11th minute. Kevin Proctor was put in the bin for 10 minutes on the 22nd minute for for a trip on Isa Papali'i. It was dangerously in the tackle, and was sent to the sin bin for that trip. Kevin Proctor was sent to the sin bin for a dangerous trip in the tackle on Isaiah Papali'i in the tackle, and was sent to the sin bin for 10 minutes. This made the Eels very, very hungry for scoring tries, as Sean Lane, Reid Mahoney and Hayes Dunster all scored in a 5-minute blast, 23rd, 25th and the 28th respectively. Clinton Gutherson converted Reid Mahoney's kick, but that was his only 2 conversions of the night. In the second half though, Ryan Matterson scored for the Parramatta Eels to extend their lead even further, where this was converted by Bryce Cartwright. Following that up, it was Gold Coast's turn to put on a couple of tries, as Brian Kelly scored for the Titans, followed up by some great running from David Fafita to end the scoring on the night. This meant that the scores ended 26 points to 8 to Parramatta. Next we go into an entertaining game of 2 halves when it comes to North Queensland Cowboys versus the Sydney Roosters. This was all being held at the Queensland County Bank Stadium. Again, another doubleheader. Javid Bowen opened the scoring for the Queensland Cowboys, which was goaled by Scott Drinkwater. Hamisu Tabawi Fidal went over for a try on the 14th minute to follow that up, and Scott Drinkwater converted to give the Cowboys a 12-0 lead, a surprise 12-0 lead. Angus Crichton scored on the 26th minute after this for the Sydney Roosters, with Billy Smith following that up, and Sam Walker goaling that. But unfortunately for the Cowboys, Joseph Manu scored on the stroke of half-time to make it 12 points to 14 going into the half. Matic Ivahalu scored on the 59th minute, which was then quickly followed up by Reece Robson for the try, which Drinkwater converted once more, giving North Queensland Cowboys an 18 points to 16 lead. Giving the scores 8 and 18 all appearance. But unfortunately, it was to naught at this point for the North Queensland Cowboys, as Siliti Telpenny scored on the 70th minute, which Sam Walker converted. Sam Walker himself went over on the 75th minute, which he converted, and Matic Ivalu scored his second of the night on the stroke of full time to give the Roosters a 34 points to 18 victory. So I made a mistake for this game, as the doubleheader was not held at the Queensland County Bank Stadium. It was one game there and one game back at the Cbus Super Stadium, as it was the Canberra Raiders who faced the Cronulla Sharks on Saturday the 17th of 2021. And you'd think, the way that the scoring was going, you'd think that Canberra Raiders were back to their winning ways. And you'd be right, because they eventually went out 34 points to 18 winners. As in the first half, a Jordan Rapana try and 4 Jared Coker goals, 3 being penalties, gave the 12 points to Canberra. Jesse Ramainen and Soni Katoa had their tries converted from Braden Trindle, all coming in the first half. In the second half, Jack Whiten, off his performance of sorts in the Blues for New South Wales, and scored a try on that day, so I got to give him props for that. Went over for the try. The conversion was missed at this point, but Ronaldo Mulatalo scored on the 47th minute. Trindle again was successful with the boot. Hudson Young went over for a try, which Croker did this time convert. After that, Xavier Savage scored, with Jared Coker's kicking that conversion. Siosifa Talaki was sin-binned on the 76th minute for the Cronulla Sharks, and that he didn't score for the rest of the game after the Trindle conversion. But Croker was successful with the next 2 kicks, as Xavier Savage, who had been fantastic through the entire game, which I've already mentioned, that Jared Coker scored, and Semi Valamia scored on the 79th minute for Croker to complete the scoring. So 34 points to 18 is how the score ended, and it's another win for the Canberra Raiders. So what turned out to be a double header on the 17th turned out to be a triple header, as Cbus Super Stadium in Gold Coast actually held this Melbourne Storm versus the Newcastle Knights on the 17th of July. and it was one-way traffic for 95% of the game, unfortunately, for the Knights, as it turned out that the Storm were the overall winners at 48 points to 8. So Melbourne ran in 5 first half tries to blow Newcastle away in this game, as Justin Olam scored after 3 Knights errors, and they doubled their advantage with Cameron Munster, who crossed over. Winger George Jennings ran 35 minutes to score a 3rd try, leaving Jake Clifford and Caleb Bonyer in his wake, and powered over in the right corner. Jerome Hughes was to cross on the 36th minute when he put a kick ahead, and Remy Smith gathered before getting it back inside to the halfback looming in support. In-form fullback Nico Hines bagged himself a try, and Melbourne Storm's 5th on the stroke of half-time, following good work from Munster and Olam, which led the scores at 30 points to 0 at half-time. 6 minutes into the second half, and the Storm were in again after Hughes gathered a kick on his own try line and raced 70 metres to find Remy Smith to score. Jennings made it a double in the 53rd minute to make it 42 points to 0. Before Newcastle crossed finally when Dom Young, the ex-Huddersfield man, the Jamaican international, went over for the only try that the Newcastle Knights could muster, and that's how the scores ended. 42 points to 0. So now we're going to Sunday's games, and the first place that we visit is Suncorp Stadium. Round 18's games, there were 3 of them, and this is the first of the 3 that I'm reporting on. And Brisbane Broncos were entertaining the West Tigers at Suncorp Stadium, one of the places that have not been affected by the COVID bubble. So the scoring starts off with Corey Oates scored on the 5th minute, and Jermaine Isako kicked the conversion. Isako then extended the lead to 8-0 for the Broncos with a penalty goal on the 11th minute. Luciano Leilua responded for the West Tigers, which Adam Dewey scored 5 of his 8 goals. This was his first one. Coming up to half-time, David Nofaluma went over for a try, which wasn't converted, but Jordan Reiki responded on the 7th, scored on the 17th minute to extend the lead for the Broncos, which Isako did miss. To finish off the scoring at half-time, Thomas Flegler scored on the 38th minute, which Isako did convert to send the lead into half-time for the Broncos at 18 points to 10. After half-time, it was all one-way traffic, more or less. Apart from the solitary Cotano Stag's 50th minute try and Isako's last conversion in the game. Tries from Laurie, 2 from Tommy Talau, a second for Nufaluma, Junior Poga, and Otoi Kamanu, all scored for the West Tigers to make an overall comprehensive win for the West Tigers at 42 points to 24. There was, just looking at the stats, it was even though the Broncos had more of the ball, more tackles had to be made sometime by one player, more meters run by Tessie Newer, and there was hardly anything into it, really. I'm fearful for the Broncos, as they are in a bit of a bind and probably will finish bottom this season. We're now going to have a quick look into the Rabbitohs fixture at Cbus Stadium, Gold Coast versus the Canterbury Bulldogs. And from what I can gather, it was a very sloppy display from the Rabbitohs, or possibly the best performance of the season by the Canterbury Bulldogs. The weather was fine out there, and there was a litany of handling errors. The Rabbitohs won this 6-4, but it could have been a lot more out there if Adam Reynolds hit more than 3 conversions out of his 6. So we go into the first half, and Tane Mills was the first one to cross over the line for the Rabbitohs, dotting down in the corner. Reynolds kicked that conversion. Actually, he missed that conversion, and it was the next try. Alex Johnston's regulation for the Rabbitohs style pass, quick hands to Johnston on the outside to speed past the outside backs for the Bulldogs to score his first try of the game. Reynolds did convert this. Aaron Shupp actually went in for the Canterbury Bulldogs for the next try, which Jake Averillo converted, and then it was followed up by a Corey Allen try for the Bulldogs when Alvarez kicked again. Just on the stroke of half time though, it was a bit of a madness from Lachlan Lewis as he decided to get in a wrestle with one of the Rabbitohs players as they're walking off the field. He got Simmin for 10 minutes after consultation from the referee, the bunker and the linesman. So with Lewis sitting down for 10 minutes, Alex Johnson went in for a second try of the game, which would be his final part to play in this match, as he went off for the rest of the game with an unspecified injury. Adam Reynolds converted, and then it was back to the Bulldogs as Jaden Okumbo scored on the 52nd minute, which Averillo converted. Averillo finished off his night with 4 for 4 after a try from Bailey Beyond-Aoda. But before this, Jacob Host and Adam Reynolds combined to put a 6-pointer together, and Cameron Murray scored one for himself out wide. And to finish off the scoring, Mark Nichols scored for the Rabbitohs, and there was only one further kick during the entire game, and that was a penalty for Adam Reynolds, and that was on the 46th minute. Half-time score was 10 points to 12 to the Bulldogs, with a good battling first half display, but the sin bin really caused the Rabbitohs to go into momentum, but was still a bit sloppy, and the game finished 32 points to 24 to the Rabbitohs. So the last game that we're covering is one of the 2 games that was played at Suncorp Stadium. It was Suncorp Stadium's turn to play a double-header at theirs after Cbus Super Stadium and played a single game, and this today and the double-header yesterday. And the game was between the New Zealand Warriors and the Penrith Panthers. And it was the Panthers that got off to a rocket start, as in the first minute, Viliami Kikau scored a try for the Panthers, which was followed up by 2 tries by the Warriors. Wade Egan scored on the 8th, and Rocco Berry scored on the 17th. Reece Walsh converted the Wade Egan try, but it wasn't to be for the Warriors today, as Brian Ta'o, scoring after his impressive performances in the Origin series, Stephen Crichton scored the conversion, his first of the afternoon, which was followed up by another try by Kikau on the 34th minute, which Crichton scored again, a conversion on the 35th minute. Now, that's how it ended in the first half, as 10 points to 16. But in the second half, Charlie Stain scored on the 54th minute, and Liam Martin scored on the 64th minute. Stephen Crichton scored on the 65th minute, a conversion for the Martin try. But the scoring was complete for the Panthers on the 67th minute, as Charlie Staines went in for an unconverted try. Reece Walsh scored the try of the afternoon on the 72nd minute, which he converted on the 74th minute. This was a bit of a tough one for the Warriors, as they lost Tuivasa-Sheck and Wade Egan during the game. There were 2 or 3 players that went off and weren't to return for the rest of the game. Tuivasa-Sheck was more important than anyone thought. As he is an attacking impetus for the Warriors. But they had to make do, and Reece Walsh tried his best, but he's only a young lad and still has a lot of experience, but a lot of talent to gain. So that's another video in the can for you lucky people. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember, like, subscribe, and also follow me on all my social media. You'll see it on over there at the moment. That one, yes. So, remember the Just for Fun is here. As it says, please answer in the comments below. Please comment on this video format, see if you want anything changed, anything added, anything that you want me to talk to you about. Excuse me. I'm more happy to take information on board. In the meantime, stay safe, all the best, and I'll see you in the next video.